Welcome to Predicted Pages, where we uncover the future. Did War of the Worlds predict modern AI? Don't forget to subscribe.
Imagine looking up, expecting a modern autonomous drone swarm, and seeing a Victorian nightmare tearing through your city. Welcome to Predicted Pages. H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds is famous for its Aryan tripods, but the text actually functions as a technical blueprint for autonomous warfare and algorithmic panic. To see how strange this is, consider the timing. Wells published this document of mechanized destruction in 1898, 5 years before the Wright brothers even achieved the first powered human flight. It leads to a difficult question. Does science fiction guess the future, or do these authors write the instructions that engineers eventually follow? Tell me what you think in the comments. While it's often read as a critique of British imperialism, the technological details suggest something more specific. Against this era of horse-drawn carriages and cobblestones, Wells described a future defined by unmanned weapons and data extraction. The hardware predictions began with the Martian flying machine, which introduced the tactical concept of heavy aerial bombardment without the need for human pilots. Wells described them as flat, broad wings that fly in sweeping arcs to deploy chemical weapons. Today's military drones use those same flight patterns and area denial strategies for reconnaissance and precision strikes. Then there is the heat ray. Long before modern directed energy weapons entered testing, the Martians used a swiveling energy beam capable of vaporizing iron and targets at a distance. For clearing infantry positions, they used black smoke, a suffocating chemical gas. Wells described this 20 years before the first massive gas attacks of the First World War. His most overlooked prophecy, however, wasn't a weapon. It was the handling machine, a unit designed for autonomous industrial assembly and the maintenance of other systems. Wells detailed an engineering approach, rejecting wheels for sliding parts over friction bearings and sham musculature. This aligns with modern robotic limbs. Like a Boston Dynamics quadruped, these machines rely on jointed, organic mimetic locomotion rather than traditional axles. These concepts didn't originate in a laboratory. They were outlined in a Victorian novel decades before the technology to build them existed. The threat shifts from physical hardware to the logic driving the invaders, the software of the occupation. In the novel, the Martians treat humanity as a biological resource to be harvested. They capture people and drain their blood to sustain their own alien physiology. This biological extraction prefigures the way modern artificial intelligence treats human culture. Just as the Martians required blood to run their systems, generative models require the harvesting of human art, language, and data to sustain their own growth and output. You can hear the mechanical dread of these predictions in the modern audio productions of the novel on Audible, our sponsor for this episode. Those soundscapes captured the exact unearthly noise Wells described in the text. If you're finding these connections between fiction and tech fascinating, like the video so the algorithm can share it with others. Wells characterized the invaders as intellects vast and cool and unsympathetic, a definition that aligns with our current understanding of high-level artificial intelligence. We see the psychological impact of this in the character of the artilleryman. Confronted by a machine efficiency that feels unshakable, he abandons his military confidence for a delusional, apathetic plan to hide underground. This relationship between the rise of automation and the decline of human agency is a core part of modern AI panic. The artilleryman's surrender reflects the existential dread many feel when faced with an unfeeling algorithmic dominance they cannot control. Despite their technological superiority, the Martians are not defeated by human engineering. They are killed by microscopic Earth bacteria. Their hyper-rational strategy accounted for every mechanical variable, but ignored the biological reality of the world they intended to harvest. This resolution provides a perspective on our own relationship with technology. Surviving a future governed by autonomous machines doesn't require us to become as efficient as they are. Instead, resilience against runaway automation comes from leaning into the biological and empathetic traits that remain uniquely human. For more on the stories that predicted our world, subscribe and hit the bell. In our next episode, we'll look at Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and how it anticipated the ethics of modern biohacking. See you then.